Welcome to the Woke News Report podcast. My name is Paul. I'm the founder of wokenewsreport.com and the creator of Woke Board Game, which you can find more information about at wokeboardgame.com. Today, it's going to seem like the channel is all about immigration because once again, I'm going to be talking about immigration. But really, it's about woke and the policies that are put in place by woke people. Now, I always try to define what woke is, and woke is nothing more than a top-down system people in power put in place in order to depopulate the earth. That's what woke is. So everything that they come up with is a way for them to depopulate the earth. And one of the things that they did was open borders. Woke people love the open border. And as you know, a couple of days ago, the Title 42 ended, meaning that more than ever, or at least in a very long time, our border is wide open. And tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are trying to cross into America illegally. I said on the last show about immigration and open borders that it's not really for the woke. It's not really about immigrations being illegal. It's about taking in refugees. And the reason I said that is because the West helped start a war against Russia in Ukraine, and people fled all over the place. And in fact, it's happening all over the world. If a country is in a war-torn situation, people flee into other countries and become quote unquote refugees. And so the woke are like, we can open our borders and take in refugees. Well, the places that these people are coming from are not necessarily war torn. They're impoverished. It's kind of a mess, but I saw the story about UK, and it's just one of those things where when you read the story, net migration into Britain could top 1 million this year. Now, here in America, a country way larger in size than Britain, 1 million would be kind of a drop of a hat, you would think. We don't want it. No one does. But when you're talking about Britain, a much smaller country, taking in 1 million per year, it starts to cause problems. So I found it really interesting. It shows that 1.3 million people arrived in Britain last year, many of whom received work permits or student visas. They're taking in refugees. And the woke want America to also take in refugees. Where are we going to get them? From the open border, from our southern open border. The interesting thing about this is because Britain is so small in the mass of Britain, let's say, ultimately you keep pouring this many people in and you're going to have to expand your territory. So if you follow that, you know what I'm talking about. They're going to have to do something about expansion. I mean, ultimately, if all the refugees keep flying in there and they keep crowding the spaces, they're going to have to think about doing something. And so it says here, down here at the bottom, the country's asylum system is now so saturated, the government is spending more than £6 million of taxpayer cash every day to house asylum seekers in hotels. The government recently announced its intention to relocate many of these individuals from their expensive hotel accommodations to disused military bases and floating barges. Britain is going to have to expand their territory. One of their ideas is expand their territory through floating barges. It's crazy to think. In America, we don't want 1 million. I think the last number I heard, and this has been a while, was like 4 million is what we have. And we don't necessarily have to expand our territory in order to take in these people. At the same time, places like Britain are absolutely going to have to expand their territory. This next article cracks me up, and I love this because Texas governor buses more illegal migrants to Kamala Harris's house. She's the border czar. She's also the AI czar. The wine lady, she's wine drunk or something all the time. She's Mrs. Word Salad, and she's the czar of artificial intelligence. It's crazy, but she's also the border czar, and she has been since this administration came in. So, for decades, Democrats have ignored or applauded the mass movements of illegal immigrants across the U.S. southern border as a grand signal of cosmopolitan virtue. However, as soon as border states began to fight back against open border policies and started sending those same migrants to leftist cities, suddenly their tone changed and their enthusiasm disappeared. That literally cracks me up because what do you think happened in Chicago? Chicago. What do you think happened? Well, this is what happened.
Resources that have not come to us. Now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers?
Now, I can tell you why. Because these people who are speaking on the mic right here are going to hate those other people, and you're going to see people die, quite frankly. The race war. They have set it up in a way that these people here are going to hate the migrants, right? What happens when hate enters any situation? People ultimately lose their lives, right? I mean, South Shore, Chicago, voted Joe Biden in 2020 by a whopping 97%. Once again, this comes from End Wokeness, which is a great Twitter account. These people only have to take in, or may possibly take in, 250 to 500 migrants. Meanwhile, the southern border has tens of thousands. Send them all there. Send them there. And keep sending them there. And if you don't send them there, send them to Kamala's house. She's the border czar. She's the one that's supposed to know what to do with these people and how to stop this from happening. People in Britain are going to despise this immigration and the people of immigration, and it's going to cause people to die. The people that are letting in the immigrants on the southern border are killing people by allowing this to happen. Not only by fentanyl, I mentioned that practically in every video. Fentanyl, 70,000 people in 2022 died from fentanyl. But the hatred that they foment against these immigrants, it's going to cause problems. I mean, Chicago's already a dangerous place. What happens when 500, 1,000, 1,500 immigrants get into these cities that these people clearly don't want to be there? Race war. It's race war. Now, we've been warning about this. I've actually been hearing about this since the 1990s. Hispanics are going to overpopulate the black African Americans here in America. And it may have already happened. I mean, I heard about this a long time ago. But if it hasn't already happened, it's going to. And their voting power is going to diminish by leaps and bounds. So, and any power that they think they may have had is going to diminish. And now they're getting upset about it. Well, upset turns to other things. Woke, top-down system people in power use in order to depopulate. And this is another example of something that could potentially lead to large numbers of depopulation. You see the rates of death in Chicago already. Imagine what happens if the race war comes to them through immigration, gangs, and everything else. Because whether you think you know everyone that's coming across that border in America, you have really no idea. You have no idea. So it's I say it every time. It's scary times, but that's what we're dealing with here. You know, we've got countries that can't take any more in, fomenting hatred against these people that they continue to take in. They need more land, so they have to be expansionist, which could lead to more war. You know, it's all a system in order to depopulate, which it will do. It will do. If you've enjoyed this commentary, thank you. Like, subscribe. Be sure to tell your friends. Comment if you agree, disagree. And we'll talk to you soon.